If you want to tap strafe like this, or use gyro to aim like this, then you are in the right place. Today I'm going to be bringing you guys the most comprehensive and possibly the only full gyro / controller tap strafe guide on the market. This is a very confusing topic, so if you don't watch the entire video, you will run into some problems. With that out of the way, let's get straight into it. Alright, so to start out the video, I want to make a few disclaimers real quick. The only reason that I have never promoted any sort of controller tap strafe before is because every single method required some sort of macros, which is against TOS. However, shout out to Ecstasy for showing me a way to do this on controller without any kind of macros whatsoever. Before we get into the actual tutorial, let's answer the simple question. How in the world am I tap strafing on controller? Well, pretty much what's been done is my entire controller has been bound to nothing but M and K inputs. This has been a common strategy for people that found workarounds for tap strafing on controller. However, it was never discovered that you can do it without macros, which is why I never decided to do it myself. If you do not already know, the only reason that controller cannot tap strafe is because anytime the game registers any kind of controller input, it will automatically turn off all lurching capabilities for about, I believe, half a second or so, which makes it impossible to tap strafe on controller. Now, the only downside of turning all your binds to M and K is you do not get aim assist, which is why it's never really picked up in popularity. However, what if I told you there was a way to get M and K level accuracy on controller? Well, you probably already know about it because you clicked on the video. It's called Gyro. It's essentially a Wii remote in your controller. Look at my controller cam. While I'm moving it around physically, it moves the game's inputs just like that. The only issue with that is that 99.99% of Xbox controllers do not have gyro capabilities. Not only that, but the method that we're using to tap strafe on controller does require the touchpad, which Xbox controllers naturally just don't have. However, if you really do want to invest and get controller tap strafing back, then I highly recommend you pick up a PS5 controller. I recently just got sponsored by a brand new brand. They're called Get a Grip Gaming. They come with Halo Effect joysticks, which is a must for gyro, as you can literally not have any kind of stick drift on gyro. They even come with up to 8 paddles total, which is absolutely insane, especially when it comes to gyro. So if you don't play claw, then you can get the 8 paddle version. It also goes down to 6, 4, and 2. Since they're a brand new company, their customer service is extremely responsive, so you don't have to worry about getting ghosted like all those other big brands. If you do want to purchase one of these controllers, they are very high quality. You can customize them to your liking. I'll leave a link in the description down below. Not only will you help yourself out, but it also helps the channel out as well. Alright, so now assuming that you either have a PS5 controller or you just bought one, let's go over the actual tutorial. So the first step I want you to do is I want you to go into your settings. Go to mouse and keyboard. I want you to bind move forward to scroll wheel down. Once you have that done, put your thumbs up. Okay, that was cringe. Once you have that done, I want you to take out your phone and I want you to go through and essentially record, just like this, just record all of your M and K binds. So I want you to record everything so you have all of your M and K binds. Once you've done that, go ahead and tab out of game. Go ahead and open up Steam. Once you're in Steam, there's going to be a little controller button right there. I want you to click that. Once you have it clicked, it should open up like this. Let me drag that over for you guys. And then what I want you to do is hit Edit Layout, go to Action Sets, go ahead and add an action set. Call this Gyro. Oh my gosh, I can't spell. Gyro Tap Strafe. And then do not copy any kind of layout. Just keep this on none, and then hit Confirm. Alright, so essentially what you just did was you created an entirely separate input like entity for your controller essentially. So that means that once you hit a certain button, it's going to switch how your controller is registered. So what I want you to do is go ahead and hit R1 up here, and now you are officially on the Gyro Tap Strafe action set. Now, the reason why I told you earlier to record all of your M and K binds is because it's the painstaking moment where you have to turn every single controller bind into a mouse and keyboard bind. So go ahead and open up your recording and copy every single bind to M and K. And while you're doing that, let me just tell you, this is another reason why the process of making this video was extremely delayed. Is because I can't just give you guys the actual layout, because it's going to be different for everybody, because everybody's binds in game and on their controller are completely different. So like the old Tap-Strafe, I couldn't just give you guys my layout and say, you know, do whatever with it, because this one requires a step-by-step process. Alright, so let me pause again real quick. I am currently sitting on R1. Now here is the thing. In order for your second action set to be activated, you have to give up one button on your controller. For me, that was R1. So let me show you how to set that up. I want you to go to your default action set, the normal controller binds. I want you to go to whichever bind you want to sacrifice. It doesn't have to be R1. As long as you can sacrifice it, that's all you need. So for me, that's R1. I'm going to click on right bumper, go over to action sets, change action set, and then set it to gyro Tap-Strafe. Hit confirm. Once you've done that, I want you to go over to the other action set, aka the gyro Tap-Strafe action set. Go ahead and hit R1 and do the exact same thing, making it go back to defaults. Hit confirm. Go ahead and save that real quick. Let's go into game so I can show you exactly what that looks like. So now I hit R1 and it puts me back on normal controller. I hit it again and now I'm on the M&K binds. Obviously I haven't copied all of the other M&K binds yet, so really all I can do right now is jump, maybe I can stim, and that's really it. Once you've confirmed that the action set is properly working, I want you to go back into Steam, open up your controller layout again, go back over to the gyro Tap-Strafe action set, and then go ahead and finish all your M&K binds. This part should take a pretty long time. While you're doing this, let me just say, there's a lot of parts in this entire tutorial where you can definitely mess up. And so if you don't want to wait on me to respond to your comments in the YouTube comment section, then come over to my Twitch, ask me questions there. Either do that or join my Discord server. You can ask me questions there as well. I know there's going to be a lot of people that have issues with this. It's really complicated. There's a reason why it hasn't really been popularized at all. It's because it is complicated. Hopefully one day, fingers crossed, Apex will add a in-game version of this so that not only Switch players can natively play Gyro. I don't know why in the world they only have Switch players playing Gyro, but they do. So alright, and once you have all your main buttons like D-pad, the face buttons all figured out and set up to M&K inputs, I want you to go ahead and go over to triggers. Keep this as a trigger, but I want you to go in here and make sure that analog is off, otherwise it's going to disrupt all the M&K inputs. Make sure this is on left mouse click. Make sure this is on right mouse click. Go ahead and go over to joysticks, left joystick behavior. We want to turn this into a directional pad. And then after that, we're going to go ahead and we're going to hit W, S, A, and D. Once you have that done, go ahead and hit the settings bar and make sure that 8-way overlap is on. Once you get all this figured out, you can pretty much just mess around with the dead zones, the overlap regions, all that stuff. But for right now, let's just keep it on default. I want you to go back. So what I want you to do for right stick is go ahead and make this into a joystick mouse. The sensitivity is going to be completely dependent on what your in-game sense is. For me personally, I have this set to 750. And then my in-game settings are going to be around 2.5 mouse sensitivity. 750, and then dead zone, make sure you have this on custom. If you do end up buying one of these controllers or your controller does have Hall effect sticks, then feel free to change it to no dead zone, play around with that, see how it feels. But the most important thing is that your right stick does not have significant dead zone, because otherwise it's going to mess up the way that you aim with gyro. You're going to end up overshooting, undershooting, and all these different, you just don't even want to mess with that, okay? Alright, and so once you've done that, go ahead and exit back out, make sure it saves, go back into game. And then this is my mouse and keyboard. You can already tell we kind of have mini lurches already. We haven't stacked any lurches because we haven't set up our trackpad. However, you can still tell that we do have mini lurches just by walking around and jumping around like that. So if you were this far in, that means you have successfully set up the base for everything. Go ahead and tab back out into your desktop. I want you to go back into controller. Make sure you are on gyro Tap-Strafe action sets. And this is the part that I will teach you how to actually Tap-Strafe. How are we going to be stacking lurches? How is that even possible? It's our trackpad. Left trackpad behavior. Scroll all the way down to directional swipe. I want you to turn the downward swipe, which is you scrolling down on the actual trackpad, to scroll wheel down. Where is that? Right here. And then go ahead and hit settings up here on left track behavior. Max out the sensitivity. And then go ahead and change the scroll wheel mode to vertical only. Once you've done that, make sure that scroll wheel friction is completely off, and then you should have everything pretty much set up. I want you to save one more time, go back into the game, and I want to show you guys exactly how you're able to Tap-Strafe. So if you look at my little scroll wheel right here on this, listen, that's not good. That's not good. The mouse is not good, but you'll get the point. If I scroll just like this, you see we're stacking lurches. It's a bunch of little W inputs really fast. I heard the average mouse has around like 8 to 12 scroll wheel inputs or lurches per scroll wheel. However, the controller version, the trackpad only has around 6 to 8 depending on how fast you swipe. So go ahead and swipe down, and you should see yourself slowly inching forward. It's amazing, right? It's a miracle. So this is how you're going to actually end up stacking the lurches properly. Pretty much you just swipe down whenever you're ready to tap strafe. Yep, just like that. You're going to swipe down every single time you want to tap strafe. Now, this is going to take a lot of learning, so if you guys do want a movement guide on how to do, you know, just like tap strafing and stacking your lurches properly with this new method, then please do let me know. I'm still learning it myself, like, we're only about 2 weeks in, but yeah. So, if you have already, you know, set everything up properly, you should notice that it's pretty close to impossible to effectively play like this, because it's no aim assist, your dead zone, you can't get one-to-one like it is in game. Your movement overall is super stiff. Obviously you can edit your steam binds to be a little bit better. However, this is where gyro becomes the most clutch thing you will ever see. So pretty much let me just go ahead and teach you guys how to do gyro. I want you to tab out of your game, go ahead and go to desktop, go down here, and then once you do have a PS5 controller plugged in, your gyro thing should be right here. Go ahead and hit gyro behavior, make sure this is gyro to mouse, go ahead and hit settings, error button not found. It's exactly what you want. Make sure you hit select none so that it's constantly enabled. It should say none selected, gyro always on. And then me personally, with my 2.5 sensitivity in game, I found that these settings are the best. So let me just go ahead and make sure I have them right. Go ahead and change this to around 8,600-ish. It's kind of hard to get it right. You can always just type it in right here, but I don't care, I just eyeball it. Gyro sensitivity, let me check that, is on 2.14. Gyro speed dead zone, make sure this is all the way down to 0. Bump up your precision speed up to 1. And then your vertical to horizontal output mixer, this is essentially how fast you're going to move up and down compared to left and right. Let's go ahead and change that to -20%. Of course, with all these settings, you'll eventually find your sweet spot, but this is just what Ecstasy taught me, and I've tweaked a little bit from, so I'm just sharing it with you. Acceleration, keep this off, and then everything else should be on default. Go ahead and exit out. Once you get in the game, you officially have a Wii remote as a controller. Can I get a hooray for that? I know it's kind of weird to get used to. It's gonna be really weird to get used to, but that's totally fine. That's completely expected. I actually made a mistake. I set up the gyro on the default action set. Make sure you don't do that. A little tip for you: Steam is extremely buggy. Whenever you exit out of certain tabs in the little Steam controller layout, it'll end up pushing you back to your default action set. So you'll end up making a lot of adjustments to your settings, only to realize that it was on the completely wrong action set. So always keep a little lookout for this spot right here. Make sure it's on gyro Tap-Strafe. And then I'm just going to completely redo everything I just did. I'm not going to explain it again. You guys already know. And now that you're finally back in game, you should be able to control everything with gyro / your joystick. Now, there is a reason why gyro hasn't picked up a lot of, you know, motion up until recently. And that's purely because it's hard. It's hard to pick up for like the first few days. However, I have decided to go against my better judgment, and I haven't done any sort of aim training or anything like that. So I've been able to show that with only like about 2 weeks, I believe, with only about 2 weeks, you can get really good at gyro. It's definitely a higher skill, you know, cap than default controller, and I highly recommend you guys giving it a good try. Don't just click off this video. Have this in your, you know, like saves or whatever of your layouts. Like, actually take it in game, actually give it a try. It's going to take some time, I promise you, but once you got it down, it's amazing. I pretty much, it's really just self-explanatory. Play like a Wii remote, you know. Every single time you want to tap strafe, make sure you go ahead and swipe down. That's pretty much it. I mean, there's not much more to it. Again, the only reason why I really had to make this setting guide is because everybody's settings is different. And it's as simple as that. Like, if your settings are different, you're gonna need a more, you know, personal experience rather than, you know, me just giving you guys a layout to copy. You know what I mean? Make sure you guys go ahead and tweak your settings. They will require a lot of tweaking, like dead zones, certain buttons. It's all gonna take a lot of time to get your binds 100%, you know, accurate. But if you guys do want a movement tutorial with gyro, then please do let me know. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Go follow me on Twitch, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.